Everybody, it's Mike Myers and Richard Chapman, two bald nerds, coming to you with the breach of the month. Richard, we got some pretty interesting stuff going on. First of all, I hear there's some new noise on the Loan Depot breach. Can you get us up to speed on that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, I think this is going to be a trend. We here in the US tend to be a little sue happy, but rightfully so. When our information's not protected very well, you might get sued. And I think that that's going to be an additional cost to these companies. But yeah, Loan Depot is currently being sued. The individuals who had their data breached in that attack, they're suing them because they're basically saying you didn't do your due diligence to protect our data.
Was there
So
enough
yeah,
exposed? Was there enough exposed during discovery to get some feel of what Loan Depot failed to do? Do we actually have concrete example of where they came out weak, or
not just yet. We haven't actually gotten much of an update in the way of exactly how the system was breached. So that kind of leaves us a little in the dark as to exactly what may have or may not have been done that could have kept this from happening. But we do know that they breached pertinent PII. They got personally identifiable information from the clients of Loan Depot. So socials, names, dates of birth, all that fun stuff. So they are providing free credit monitoring. Yay! Because we all love free credit monitoring when our data gets breached, right? I'd prefer just not to get that, and basically because you don't get my data. But unfortunately, it's happening. It's happening every day, man. I mean, it's crazy the amount of breaches that are happening. It's nuts.
so? It is interesting because it's how much as a security person, can I lean on standards, best practices, all those types of things? And is there a point, and well, we're there now, where those become legal statements? You know what I mean? That I was
Yeah.
HIPAA compliant or whatever it might be
Mm.
could become legit defense. It would have to be. It already is. It's got to be. Got to be.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see a continued push by the government to push requirements by companies. I think they're gonna continue to try to hold these companies a little bit more accountable for their actions or lack thereof, which creates some potential opportunities for growth in the industry as well. Which obviously the industry itself is continuing to grow. Why? Because there's breaches every day. Um, Attackers don't really take a break. They put a lot of automated activities on kill and basically go play at the park or do whatever they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll see a continuation of not only the attacks but also a focus on trying to improve standards. Making these companies utilize these frameworks to ensure that they're actually doing the right things. I mean, there are some things that I think are out of our control. As a matter of fact, the next one that we're going to talk about, there's a little bit of a control, but then there also was a little bit of lack of control as well. So that may be an issue for Cloudflare. We'll see what happens with that. But
Well,
I really
let's just push right towards that then. Is
the
the
Cloudflare one.
the Cloudflare Beach? That was way back, like last Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, the
There.
breach itself actually happened in November, but as with a lot of these, when they happen, we don't sometimes find out all the details till a little bit later. And what we found out was that Cloudflare had a breach back in November, and the attackers were able to leverage stolen credentials from a separate breach. So they had actually been able to obtain credentials from the Okta breach. So it was a totally separate breach. And, it's funny when that kind of stuff happens because you're going, okay, well, what could we do? They breached that company, which then led to us. So that's a whole different discussion there, right? But yeah, I mean, that breach allowed an attacker to take 3 service accounts, and they were able to utilize those service accounts to gain additional access and so forth. Gained reconnaissance, gained access to a brand new data center that wasn't even online yet. They had all kinds of fun activity there, and they were able to utilize, I guess, some of the Atlassian products that they had in their environment, which Atlassian has had a few different vulnerabilities this year in some of their platforms. So it was almost like a perfect storm of different activities. You got third-party breaches, you've got accounts that were left undone or unrotated. They forgot to rotate the tokens, I guess, on them. And then you've also got vulnerabilities in a tool. So you've got a threat actor here who basically pulled out the entire tool belt to gain access. So I don't know how much Cloudflare is really going to get in trouble for this one. They may not, because it sounds like it was a perfect storm of situations here, but interesting breach for sure.
Well, I'd love I find Cloudflare refreshingly academic about these things compared to so many other breaches. And if we can, we're going to put up a link for y'all here to get
Yep.
directly from Cloudflare. It's fascinating reading, and I can't recommend it enough. And so that works out really well. But I want to close with one thing, Richard, and that is the concern about third parties when it comes to these breaches. I mean, I feel you kind of glanced over that a little bit with the Loan Depot one, and that was that is there. I have a little bird that tell me there might have been some third party issues with the Loan Depot. Did you hear anything like that to that effect, or?
Haven't gotten that info yet, again, because very little details have actually been leaked yet on that. But I don't know. Again, we talked about it before when we actually talked about the Loan Depot breach. I do still feel between the Loan Depot, the Mr. Cooper, and the third one, I'm drawing a blank on the name at the moment, but those three mortgage companies that were all hit within the period of 3 months. It was one, then another, then the next. They're all in the mortgage services arena. So I feel there's a possibility of some sort of connection between the three, and it could be a third party, particular framework or software application or something like that they utilized that they were able to gain access. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
software
We'll see.
application.
Yeah, yeah,
I can smell
yeah.
it from here. Not the first time that's happened either. Oh, well, folks, anyway, thank you so much for joining us on Two Bald Nerds for our breach of the month. I think the Cloudflare breach is probably going to develop a little bit more, and we might have a little bit more to talk about that next month. But other than that, stick with us, folks. We're always interested in the interesting breaches that our good friend Richard stumbles into each month, and we get to talk about them right here on Two Bald Nerds. Till then, we'll see you next time. If you like Two Bald Nerds, check out our entire playlist right here. It's a lot of fun. We'll see you there.